going to be a fascinating mono red aggro versus white blue monument. Now, because white blue has so many 1/1 tokens, you think it actually could be good against an aggro deck.
Yeah, you get a lot of blockers in the way. A little bit slow to start, though. If Job has one of his faster draws, he can really come out ahead.
Yeah, and he's won the die roll. Mountain and Go from Job. No 1-drop. Actually has 8 1-drops in the deck. It's going to be Weinburg with the 1-drop in Thraben Inspector.
And here's the Earthshaker Kenra check.
Yeah, get 2 in there. 2 mountains. Here's the new card. It is Carry Zev, Skyship Raider. The 1/3. It's Jonathan's second play.
That's plenty powerful as well.
Yeah, land and pass for Ben, looking to crack a clue. Jonathan's deck, interesting in that it splits the difference between a very aggressive deck and then a mid-range deck. The mid-range comes in the form of these Eldrazi cards. Jonathan's sizing up the board, probably just playing into a cracked clue. You see Carries up when she attacks. You get a legendary. The legendary monkey creature Ragavan attacks with her. Jonathan going to play Eldrazi Obligator, the 3/1 haste. He's going to swing them both in. Yeah, Ben will easily trade the Inspector for the Obligator. Takes 3. I'm a little surprised that Jonathan was willing to make that trade.
Yeah, casting the Obligator, I'm on board there. The Carry Zev has Menace, can't block that. Ragavan getting in combat with the Thraben Inspector, that's fine. Losing your 3-mana spell, that doesn't seem great.
Well, it might make sense depending on what the rest of his hand is. Sometimes you look at, I guess you were saying casting it, no attack.
Right, exactly. He has some stuff in his deck that can cause no blocks on future turns. Those on-crop crashers, the Kenras.
Let's see what he has in store. Sometimes you just make those plays because of curve considerations.
Sure.
Ben, a 3rd land and a pass. This certainly looks like it's a spell queller. See what Jonathan's play is. Land Thought Knot Seer would get quelled. He's going to go for some low impact cards and something he's fine. Soulscar Mage. If that gets quelled, fine.
Yep.
I like that play from Jonathan a lot. You see one of those Dusk Dawns in Ben's hand. That's a card. The only creatures it kills in Jonathan's deck are the Eldrazi. I guess is actually pretty good. There's on-crop crashers, the Eldrazi, and Glorybringers.
Yep.
So Carry Zev will swing. Here is Spell Queller. Incendiary Flow will take care of the Queller. We go back over to Ben. He's managed to stay at 16 though, and right now it feels like Ben is out sequencing a bit here. All these sequence of plays are happening in Ben's favor.
Yeah, Job only able to connect for 1 damage there. He is ahead on board though, and Weinberg is yet to assemble an Oketra's Monument.
Yeah, the white-blue deck, I don't know if we've seen it lose yet with a turn 3 Monument. The games without though, it shows some weakness. Here's Bygone Bishop. And Thraben Inspector getting 2 clues.
And Job missed his 4th land drop. Looks like he's got some expensive spells in hand as well, so he'll want to start hitting some lands.
Yeah, here's land 4. Incendiary flows away the bishop.
Prowess trigger on the Soulscar Mage.
Here's Ragavan with Soulscar. Keep in mind that bishop, there's some interaction here on Soulscar Mage and Incendiary Flow in case you're wondering about the exiling.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing. You put -1/-1 counters on the creature instead of it taking damage. It's not like Wither where the damage is the counters. So because the thing wasn't dealt damage by the spell.
Yeah, in other words, if a creature dealt damage this way, it would die this turn. Exile, the creature actually never was dealt damage, so it doesn't get exiled. It's strange. Ben down to 11 on that attack, though. Here's 5 mana. Cloud Blazer up to 13.
This is one of the better matchups for Cloud Blazer because of the life gain, oddly enough.
When White Blue Monument doesn't draw Monument, it just sometimes it looks like a draft deck. Like Inspector into Bygone Bishop into Cloud Blazer. It's like, it's a very nice limited deck.
Right.
Jonathan looking for that 5th land. Reality Smasher and Glorybringer are waiting at the ready.
Yeah, no good getting stranded on all those 5s. Can't trigger Prowess on the Soulscar Mage with them either. So it's not just evaluating the cards in his hand. What he has on the battlefield, not terribly impressive anymore.
Swing both. for Johnathan. Ben will double block the carry Zev, and looks like take 3 goes to 10. Anything more from Johnathan? That's another carry Zev. That makes a lot of sense then.
Yeah, so
Raghavan's gone.
That's the block that Job wanted.
Yeah.
Got to maintain his Soul Scar Mage here.
Yeah, Ben may have been helped out just by blocking the Soul Scar Mage. If he had the read on the attack, I guess. Carries off a 2 of in Jonathan's deck. Is legendary.
Every turn that passes, Weinberg's deck is forgiven for the fact that it's a little bit clunky.
Yeah, like these 2 clue tokens. Now it's looking like Ben might have time to use them.
Hit his 6 land drops, he'll be able to utilize a lot of his resources here. It doesn't matter that his spells cost 3 and are a little bit slow. He's able to cast them all, and Job is just stuck with 5 mana spells in hand.
Selfless Spirit cast out in Ben's hand. Looking good here for Weinberg. He's at 10. That's actually a pretty high number, though. Makes Selfless Spirit.
And leaving up cast out this turn is really good if Job does find the 5th land.
Yeah, for, say, Glory Bringer. Remember, Weinberg also has Dusk Dawn in hand. Takes care of some of those big creatures in Jonathan's deck.
It was another spell off of the top for Job.
All right, judges, if you see any players making their regular seats with their hands waving wildly, if you could help them out, that would be great. All right, Modern.
Yes, so still stuck on 4. It's going to be Falconwrath Gorger for John Job.
That one's really late to the party.
Yeah, I mean, that's a card. It's a 2-1 for 1. It's got that going for it. You really don't want to play it against an opposing Thraben Inspector.
Right. And things, the exchanges early, they weren't great for Joe, but they were fine. If you were able to curve out and had a 5-drop on turn 5, this would be a very different game.
Yeah, I mean, now, you know, Ben has gotten to crack both those clues. You see, he got to untap with a 6-card hand, 10 life, parity on creatures.
This is the risk you run when you play the 5-drop red deck, though. You know, sometimes you just don't get the right mix of lands and spells.
And Ben will start a very cautious attack. Just 2 damage from Selfless Spirit. That's one of the things I do like about this white-blue Monument deck, just how it manages resources. It wins just kind of in an avalanche of cards. You know, there's not a lot of... You talk about, oh, should Ben be attacking yet? Yeah, maybe that 2 damage is free. If Ben wanted to just play no attack, no attack, no attack, he could probably, like, when he wins, he could get Johnathan to concede at 20.
Right. It's just a lot of incremental value.
Yeah, it's incremental, but it snowballs. You know, there's sometimes you see with these blue tempo decks, it's all about getting +1 card, +2 cards, 20 points of damage. For Ben, it's like, once he gets ahead, you know, he's like +7 cards, plus... It doesn't matter. These chip shots don't add up.
He doesn't really have the tools that give him that far ahead in this game. You know, no Monument. The Militia Captain, once that transform, that'll generate some tokens over time.
I mean, compared to the card advantage in Jonathan's deck, this looks great. I mean, Cloud Blazer's just...
You mean he's outpacing the Ragavan tokens?
Yeah,
that's
basically.
That's a card advantage you were talking about.
I mean, yeah, or the red... I mean, red... Unless they're playing Legacy, mono red decks don't have too much card advantage.
Right.
Job hits land 5. Got 2 winners here. Is he going to go towards Smasher? It will be Reality Smasher. Keeps the Glorybringer in hand. Ben's going to read that. He wants to check the interaction with Cast Out.
Sure.
It's going to work in Ben's favor.
Yep, don't need to discard. It's only when it's targeted by a spell.
Right.
Abilities are just fine.
So Smasher resolves. It attacks alongside everything. Job rethinking. Looks like he'll leave back Soul Scar Mage for everything else, including Ragavan, comes into play.
There's a couple of creatures here that have pretty free blocks in the Soul Scar Mage. Job's concern is that he has to get some chip damage in here, as this game is just slipping way out of the reach that he'll have access to.
He's got to get Ben to go below 4 creatures.
Yeah.
which he can't actually force. Ben was really concerned he could sacrifice Selfless Spirit and block everything.
Yep.
See how Ben wants to block, but this does look good for Ben Weinberg. Blue-White Monument really looking like the deck to beat this weekend. Already one copy in top 8. This match, winner will be in.
Time in the round. Active player complete your turn, and then complete 5 additional turns. Again,
So cast out on Reality Smasher. Got to assume that that's happening. And then there's 3 attackers, and then 1 with the Menace on top of that. So Weinberg should have to take at least 1 off of this combat. If he wants to throw his creatures in the way, I guess at most 1 is another way to think about it. So he's kind of going for a control the board plan with what he's lining up here. Just take the damage off the token that's exiling anyway.
again, sealed spectacular players, your round 4 pairings have been posted.
Cast out on the Reality Smasher as well. This should trade away the entire board. And Ben is left with 4 creatures. Yeah, that should just about do it. Ben's going to get to flip his Militia Captain. Johnathan has no board.
Yeah.
He's going to say go. Becomes Westvale Cult Leader. 4/4. Weinberg went down to 8. Don't see him going much past that.
Job at 18. It's a good amount of life, but it won't take Weinberg too long to get through that now that the Cult Leader has showed up.
Yeah.
It's at least attacking for 4 on this turn.
And Ben picking up Oketra's Monument off that clue token, so Cult Leader could be very big indeed. Plays 2 more Militia Captains, getting 2 more tokens. Cult Leader up to an 8.
Not enough to be lethal this turn, but it is next turn.
8, 9 damage. Push Johnathan to 9. 2 more Militia Captains will flip. Yeah, that should... John needs 8 points of burn right now. Don't think his deck can produce that.
No, last card in hand, Glory Bringer.
It's 4. Not even... Well, I know it is 4. Yeah, Falcon Wrath Gorger. That's not going to do it.
Might have had a different game if he had Gorger on turn 1. If you'll remember, on turn 3, the play was Eldrazi Obligator into Thraben Inspector. So that trade would have been a bit better for Joe, but he's going to pick him up here.
All right, so game 1 goes to the White-Blue Monument deck. It is Ben Weinberg. Take a look at some of the sideboards here. Johnathan Job, 2 copies of Hanvir Garrison, 2 Sweltering Suns, 2 Invigorated Rampage, 2 Abrade, some Singletons. These are all extra cards of cards already in his deck, actually. And Glorybringer, Incendiary Flow, Thought-Knot Seer, Reality Smasher, Chandra, Hazaret, and Magma Spray. He's already playing all 7 of those, just can change the numbers on them.
Yeah, some removal spells to get on the table earlier, the Abrade in particular, because it takes care of Oketra's Monument. That's really powerful here. There's going to be games where Job wants Sweltering Suns, and it cycles in the games where he doesn't. That one seems reasonable.
Do you think, because of cards like Thraben Inspector, Jonathan's going to become a mid-range deck out of the sideboard? More Eldrazi, more Sweltering Suns, maybe fewer Gorgers?
Yeah, I think there's a really good argument. In particular, I like the Glorybringer and Reality Smasher because you can't spell queller those ones. I'm less into Thought-Knot Seer, but it is still quite good.
All right, now, then how about then cards like Hazaret, Chandra? How far down this path do we go?
Not really into the second copy of Hazaret. I think that's a little bit lower impact than a lot of the rest of the stuff in the deck. And Chandra can really get overwhelmed in this matchup, in particular in the Monument game. It's really not doing anything of value.
It is interesting in Jonathan's deck. Chandra's a really powerful mono-red Planeswalker. He doesn't really block for the card.
No. Yeah, he largely uses that as this kind of aggressive mid-range slant in matchups where there's not a lot of creatures that come down early.
Yeah, maybe like against black-green, Chandra seems really nice.
Yeah.
Just kill a snake.
Yeah, -3 to kill Winding Inspector matters a lot more than to kill Thraben Inspector.
All right, on Ben's side, he has a full set of negates in the sideboard. 2 Fumigates, 2 Nimble Obstructionist, 2 Angel of Sanctions, and then some Singletons. Fragmentize, Mind Sensor, Essence Scatter, Summary Dismissal, Declaration, and Stone. He could also go bigger here with cards like Fumigate, if that's what he's interested in.
Fumigate's reasonable. Both decks are playing to the board. Gaining life is going to be relevant in this matchup. One of the strengths of the red deck is that it has so much reach. So that one is totally reasonable. Declaration and Stone is probably the best card in the sideboard because it's good against the low to the ground aggressive plan. It still catches the bigger creatures later on in the curve. So I think that one for sure comes in. Good argument for Angel of Sanctions as well. Does some reasonable blocking in this matchup. Can take care of a problematic large creature.
Over on StarCityGames.com, the Star City Games newsletter shows up in your mailbox every week. It's highlights from some of our best articles from the week. You can learn about the upcoming SCG Tour events, like SCG Atlanta next week. It's our team event. Find invitational qualifiers and game nights near you. Get exclusive advice from the top players on the SCG Tour. And the best part of all, it's free. You can sign up at StarCityGames.com/newsletter.
Can't pass up on free value. If you're not on the newsletter, get on it.
In the last game I played, one of the things is that Thraben Inspector looks like a really great card against Johnathan's deck. Look at the things that match up poorly here. Vulcanwrath Gorger, Earthshaker Kenra, Eldrazi Obligator.
Most of the time, Soul Scar Mage is going to be pretty bad against it as well.
Yeah.
Thraben Inspector is a really powerful Magic card. Make no mistake about that.
Yeah, it's interesting for me to watch this deck this weekend. I mean, at 11-2, it seems to be a new player here in Standard with Hour of Devastation. You look at its cards, and not many of them are new. Yeah, I was playing for Earthshaker Kenra, but spell-wise, that's about it. And I would then say, well, if this deck's so good, why weren't people playing it in the past? And you're saying a lot of that, I guess, exists in the lands?
Yeah, Ramunap Ruins, just having access to that red/colorless source did a lot to help this deck out. Not to mention that it also is good for a couple points of reach.
Yeah, I guess if you think about it, like we've printed dual lands now.
Right.
Okay, dual lands, I understand that. Printing dual lands makes new archetypes. That makes sense.
Right. Unfortunately, these deserts that tap for colored mana, they don't play well in two-color strategies. And
well, that'd be a three, because if they're a dual, that'd be a three-color strategy, right?
Right. But you don't have anything. You know, previously we had Pain lands in Standard.
Right.
Shivan Reef makes it so you can play blue-red colorless, things like that.
Yeah. Dual lands aren't supposed to come in and play untapped and make three colors. That's what a time to be alive that was. Jeskai Black splashing Eldrazi.
It was a different time.
Everything.
But
you could play all your cards.
By some estimations, a worse time.
Just all of them. Whatever your favorite cards are, put them in a deck. Job on the play. Start with Carry Zev for a second time.
This time, no Thraben Inspector on one for Weinburg, so that's pretty good for Job.
Yeah, Selfless Spirit will be his first play. That one does not block Carry Zev or Ragavan particularly well.
Nope. I'd be fine casting an Obligator into Selfless Spirit as well.
Yeah, on 3 we see Hanvir Garrison out of the sideboard for Johnathan Job.
That'll really apply more pressure here.
Yeah, no battlements to infuse it with, but still a very good card here.
There has been a list of this deck on Magic Online that does play the battlements. Job, of course, opting out of it, but this card still applies a lot of pressure all on its own.
And especially on this board, when Hanvir Garrison attacks, he gets 2 1/1 red human creatures, tapped and attacking. As Ben's board looks right now, that's great. Ben's creatures all have, his Selfless Spirit has 1 toughness.
Right, best that Weinberg's leaving up now is casting a Spell Queller to get into combat. That doesn't do anything about the Garrison.
To block?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Johnathan still deals damage and gets one of his 1/1 survives. That seems good.
Right. Likely you won't see Job going for a haste creature pre-combat because of Spell Queller.
Sure.
But you might see him cast a 1-drop and leave up Incendiary Flow.
I do like that. Is there much of a reason to pre-combat anything here?
Well, if you go for the 1-drop and it does get spell quellered and you get to flow, that means you're going to get through with your garrison this turn.
Okay. Where's the variant for that post-combat? Okay, that makes sense. Here's Soul Scar Mage from Job. Earthshaker Kenra. That might get the Spell Queller out of Ben's hand. I assume he has one. If he doesn't have one, he's just dead.
And once the 1-drop doesn't get quelled, you may as well play a 2-drop. Though, I would not be on board to attack the Kenra into a potential Spell Queller if this does not get countered.
Just play it?
Yeah, just play it and then attack with the other 2 creatures.
I like playing a 2/1 haste with an enters the battlefield ability, then no attacks with it. Stasis Snare on Garrison will be the play from Weinberg. That makes this easy from Job. Here's a swing for 5 rather. And Ragavan will leave. No land though from Job. Remember though, those Ramanap Ruins, once Job gets to 5 mana, he can start sacrificing them to deal 2 damage directly to Ben.
And 12 is not really a comfortable life total. Weinberg needs to play to the board fast.
Yeah, it would be comfortable if he had good blockers, but he doesn't yet.
Yeah, in terms of strict reach, you're absolutely right. In terms of getting attacked by 4 creatures, it's a lot worse.
There's land 4 from Johnathan, picked up this turn. Gotta decide what is he playing into. Could be Spell Queller, counter, maybe Metallic Rebuke, Cast Out, Nimble Obstructionist.
Removal spells are just fine. Obstructionist, not really a big concern. It just trades with something.
Spell Queller is just the one. It's really the one that he's got to be careful of.
Yeah, it represents a size that is problematic for combat for these creatures.
Yeah, he'll swing all 3 though. Ragavan joins Karizev. All right, see the Spell Queller. I like how Job has not played his land yet.
If the follow-up here is something like Thought Not Seer, that would be excellent.
Right. Just not giving Ben that information to work with.
Yeah, there's no trick that it represents in combat either.
Three mana from Ben. It's going to be Spell Queller anyway. No spell for it to take, but we'll get to just block Earthshaker Kenra. Ben's actually lines up the Queller in front of Kenra. Doesn't really matter which way he does it. Yeah, Queller in front of Kenra. They're Queller in front of Ragavan. Spear in front of Kenra. Ben takes 2, goes to 10.
Yeah, that's really the same math either way.
Job 4th land passes. He does have a copy of Sweltering Suns in his hand. That's a bit of an awkward one here, just on the board. I see why he wanted it in the matchup. Go back over to Weinberg. He was fishing for land 5 for Fumigate. He did not hit.
Cycling the Sweltering Suns is just fine. Job does look to have a Reality Smasher in hand, so he really wants a 5th land drop.
Looks like Metallic Rebuke, Fumigate, 2 Militia Captains. And Ben's just going to play both captains.
Okay, now Job might just cast the Suns.
Yeah, Ben was hoping he could just Fumigate here and then make the Militia Captains, but at 10 life, he just called that plan off. Yeah, I don't think I want to cycle Sweltering Suns anymore if I'm in Johnathan's seat. If he could have another 1 mana card, Soulscar Mage might even survive the Sweltering Suns.
Yeah, it could have a Magma Spray. It wouldn't be the best use of a Magma Spray, but he's just turning it into a Soulscar Mage.
Yeah, you see him think, he thought about Sweltering Suns there and then just untapped, did not cycle. Drew land 5.
He has a Glorybringer.
Let's play it anyway.
That one makes sense over the Suns. Still a very enticing spot for Suns.
Yeah, I agree. If it's Glorybringer, I would play it over the Sweeper. Land 5 from Johnathan. Here's 5 mana. Yeah, Glorybringer is the play. Very nice. Attacks the team. I like this because he's planning to Suns next turn. This makes sense.
Yeah.
Kills Spell Queller.
So he does Exert.
Yep.
And this disguises the fact that he has the sweeper, which
Yeah,
is really,
really
nice.
well.
You have 50 minutes. You may begin.
He is kind of throwing away a creature. Ben can kill one of them.
Yeah, the creature he was going to kill himself anyway, you know.
It looks like Ben's going to double block Carry Zev. But if he does, he goes to 3. Yeah, he can't
Can't single block that one.
single block it.
That is
it has
a
menace.
menacing.
Yeah. Carry Zev is too scary. And Ben's got to be worried because he's at 10. He's already taking 4 from the Glorybringer. These Ramunap Ruins deal 2.
Yes. And because it's double ruins, any land beyond that will be lethal after the first one goes.
Now remember, Ben could, if he draws a land next turn, he has Land Fumigate at the ready. Double block Carry Zev. That's actually going to lose if he casts it now, though. Because you see Ben goes to down, it looks like to 3.
Fumigate puts him back up to 7.
Okay, right. He kills his own guys. It counts them. So he go to 7. Because we believe Job has a follow-up Smasher here.
Yes, that one's not going to be beatable.
Ben says go.
And against untapped mana, you'll probably just play the Smasher and jam here. The Sweltering Suns doesn't really make sense anymore.
Another red card, the draw for Job. Yeah, maybe just never get around to the Sweltering Suns. It's fine if your opponent's dead.
It's also nice that Weinberg won't necessarily know about that for the third game.
I mean, you got to be concerned. Weinberg's hand has Metallic Rebuke and I believe Cast Out both in it.
Okay, so a couple answers to the Smasher.
Yeah, I mean, the big concern is these Ramunap Ruins. How's Ben going to stabilize against those? You know, if Johnathan may just want to say go, sack a Ruins on end step.
Sure.
If he has land 6 in his hand, I kind of like it.
Yeah, if he has land 6, definitely. Without it, the Smasher does make a lot of sense, though. Yeah, Fumigate is specifically on your radar. Then you want to force some other action with the Reality Smasher, I suppose. Weinberg just draws land and casts it on the following turn. Just activating Ruins is not a very productive turn for him. I suppose in that situation you would definitely want to be able to cast Reality Smasher in your next turn. So maybe that is just the line, just to hang out and don't activate Ruins.
That's the last standard event will be starting this weekend.
Wait to untap the Glorybringer.
Yeah.
5 minutes at side events.
3 mana here for Job. He's just going to cast Sweltering Suns. All right. Ben can counter with Metallic Rebuke. That feels really bad.
Yeah.
If he does, Ben's countering a very medium spell. Now, I do have to ask, is Glorybringer going to become a 1/1 here?
The Soulscar Mage puts some, I believe that's going to put 3
I think
-1
Glorybringer is
counters on
going
the
to
Glorybringer.
shrink to a 1/1.
It's still lethal with Ramunap Ruins.
Yeah, okay. Oh, we're going to check Soulscar Mage, though.
Job still has Reality Smasher for the following turn if nothing
Oh,
happens.
I like, look at this. Soulscar Mage took care of that for you. If a creature an opponent controls. No, it's a 4/4 dragon. Here's another Soulscar Mage from Job.
That's some everybody gets a trophy kind of design right there.
Stasis Snare, the play from Ben. Takes care of the dragon.
Follow-up Soulscar Mage is nice, though. It forces action out of Weinberg, because that's lethal with the Ruins.
Yeah. And Ben can see it. He plays Selfless Spirit. It's a blocker.
Doesn't do a good job of blocking Reality Smasher.
No, and Ben has mana down on Metallic Rebuke. So here's Reality Smasher. And Ben will pick up the cards. We're headed to a third game.
2 o'clock modern channel.
And Ben, a lot of actual weapons in his hand there. And makes me think he knew the sideboard plan Johnathan was on. Fumigate seemed great, but then look at this. Ben kept in cards like Metallic Rebuke in this matchup. On the surface against a mono red deck, you'd board that out.
Yeah, it's just at a low to the ground, curving out, beat down deck. Counterspells are not very good, but he knows that Job is full up on 4 and 5 mana spells. Not difficult to find a good window for that. And on the play, it gets even better. He can potentially counter that Handweaver Garrison. Some good interaction in form of cast out as well.
Yeah, so between stasis snares and cast outs, Ben actually loading up on answers to these problematic 5-drops. I don't think he's going to get caught by a Reality Smasher or a Glory Bringer.
Right.
His deck works. He's looked to go bigger too. If they're both on go big plans, does that, one of them should be disadvantaged in this matchup. Does one of them then switch back? You're in Johnathan's spot.
Unfortunately, Job might be a little bit locked into it because Spell Queller is so good against the small side of his deck. Not only does the 2/3 really outsize a lot of the smaller creatures in combat, but it also just exiles everything that costs less than 5.
Sure.
Kind of locked into going for some 5-mana spells.
Okay, so once Job's locked into the 5-mana spells, then Ben can play against them.
If Incendiary Flow were an instant, this might be a different equation.
It's like, right, because it could kill Spell Queller on when it's flashed into play. Yeah, John would have to have a card like Abrade. I guess he could board those in, but those don't go upstairs, which
they kill
stinks.
Monument. Those are almost assuredly in. He only has 2 copies is the problem.
Okay, so you just have to have one in hand. I mean, Ben has 4 Spell Quellers.
Right.
See the problem? Well, they're going to get ready for a third game. Now, starts the games, we have our Tarmo die. This came out just a couple months ago. You can keep track of your creatures' power and toughness in style. By your creature, we mean your Tarmogoyf, because that's the creature that you would use with the Tarmo die. So you can get a single die or a set of all 4 available at the Star City store. StarCityGames.com/Tarmo die.
What's your stance on using the Tarmo die to track the power and toughness of Lurgoyf proper?
I've never tried. I don't know. How big is Lurgoyf going to get?
It can get quite large. The problem is it's not good enough to put in any of your decks. So that really limits the size of the Lurgoyf. You could use all 4 of the Tarmo die and use the sum of them, but then you get too much toughness.
Okay, so Lurgoyf is number of creatures in all graveyards?
It will outsize the Tarmogoyf in most 2-player games and in every commander game. I suppose that's just good branding.
I don't like putting it in my Scavenging Ooze deck. That's really bad.
Well, you gotta just weigh what's more important.
Well, yeah, I mean, I like Tarmogoyf and Ooze in the same deck.
Sure.
Lurgoyf and Scavenging Ooze less so. I kind of just get a 2/2 Ooze.
No one's making you play Scavenging Ooze.
You can use it to track your Magnivore.
No one's encouraging you to play Lurgoyf. Magnivore has toughness that's equal to its power.
Oh, is it just a star?
Yes.
Oh, it's not star plus
I think it's only Lurgoyf and Tarmogoyf that have the star plus 1.
Is there no other Vor?
All the other ones just exactly track.
The other ones can die.
Well, creature is not a card type that generally jumps into the graveyard.
Yeah, there's a problem here. You're right.
I suppose
I shouldn't play that. You can't use it with Magnivore.
This makes the enchantment Vor seem even worse. So Cognivore is the blue one. That's instance.
Magnivore, Mortivore.
It's the white one that tracks enchantments. It costs some outrageous amount of mana. It's like 8 or something.
It's an 8 mana star. This isn't right. This isn't right.
Tracks enchantments in graveyards.
That's just really bad of Vor now.
What I'm saying is that one should have +1 toughness.
So it's okay. It costs 8 and it only cracks this card type that's never in your graveyard, but it gets an extra point of toughness.
There's a lot of enchantments that cycle, I guess.
It's great in my cast out deck. I just cycle through those.
2 p.m. Modern Challenge players preparing for round 2.
I don't like your card design.
2 p.m.
I don't want to play that.
I didn't design it.
It's 8 mana. It's not 8 mana.
I'm pretty
it's
sure
it's actually 8 mana.
Pretty sure it's 8 mana.
That can't. I hope not.
All right, Soulscar Mage on turn 1 for Johnathan Job.
Handir Militia Captain back from Weinberg.
We'll see if Job will have Kari Zev for the 3rd game in a row.
And he does. Skyship Raider, but no attacks here. One thing I've noticed with this mono red deck, it's been hard for Johnathan to trigger prowess.
Yes, the Soulscar Mage, that or the Falkenrath Gorger certainly seem to be the worst cards in the deck.
At least in this matchup. Bygone Bishop for Weinberg. This is a great opening, though, for an Incendiary Flow. Let's see if Johnathan has one. How about Earthshaker Kenra instead? No blocks for Bygone Bishop. Swing for 5.
Well, this would be excellent if he also had a Magma Spray.
Yeah, I was like, come on, there's 2 more.
As it stands, this is a good chunk of damage. We'll see what Weinberg has for the follow-up. You know, Job would definitely like to have flow to, you know, manage the Bygone Bishop as term as a blocker, but Job doesn't really care about investigating coming out of these Bygone Bishops.
2nd Bishop and a Clue token. Yeah, Ryan, the white board costs 3, not 8.
Prove it.
Not. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Not.
I like that its name is Cantivore.
It's not that far off from Badivore. It's not. It has Vigilance. There we go. That's what we gave you back.
It might as well cost 8.
Here's Thought Not Seer from Johnathan.
Ooh.
Fumigate and Cast Out. Some big finds here for Johnathan. What's of note is that despite 2 Bygone Bishops, Weinberg does not have any more creatures yet.
Yeah, won't be able to flip that Militia Captain, and also needs to commit more creatures to investigate.
Right. I mean, when Ben starts hitting creatures, it's going to be real good. So John has to decide. Cast Out, Ben can play this turn. You notice that Ben did not cycle Cast Out before this Thought Knot. Or he could try to give him the Fumigate, but Fumigate's very good against Jonathan's board. If Ben draws the land...
Fumigate's really good against Ben's board.
Yeah, John's going to still take the Fumigate. I get it. See the land there, by the way, in play. That's the one of Dune of the Dead in Jonathan's deck. He can sacrifice to Ramanap Ruins to make a 2/2.
Yeah, it's Texas when it goes to the graveyard to get a 2/2. It can't sacrifice itself, but it can combo with Ramunap Ruins.
We needed a 5th Sun-Scorched Desert. This is the one that got called up for the job. Just a go from Weinberg. Drew a card, Cast Out, and 1 unknown in his hand. We get to see Job's turn. A lot of cards in hand, at least looks like 4. Another Earthshaker Kenra, a Reality Smasher.
Adding Reality Smasher would be pretty powerful here. You force the Cast Out. That can only hit the Thought Knot Seer or the Smasher. Can't take both. Looks like Job does have Sweltering Suns. So that would kill everything but the Thought Knot Seer. Getting these Bygone Bishops off the battlefield does look pretty good.
Yeah, well, it actually would sweep the board because then Weinberg has the Cast Out, right?
Right, yeah, that would happen, but Weinberg still has to cast the Cast Out. So then Weinberg working with the card he draws off the Thought Knot Seer plus his card for turn.
I think there might
Clue.
be double Kenra in Jonathan's hand.
Okay.
His hand might be great.
That would represent a lot of damage.
Swing of everything except for Thought Knot Seer. Ragavan joins Karizov.
This looks like he's planning for a post-combat Sweltering Suns.
Yeah, I'd agree.
The old attack before Wrath, don't get any damage on the Thought Knot Seer, force the Cast Out to actually take that one.
Keep in mind how much burns in Jonathan's deck. Remember, each of these Kenras has Eternalize. So if he just starts drawing lands, he has so much damage. 6 mana, he eternalizes the Kenra as a 4/4. He also would have the Dune of the Dead. He has the Ramanap Ruins. He has Reality Smasher. He has... It is hard for him to not... Every draw is good here, whether it's a land or spell.
Mm-hmm. Getting glutted on 5s before he gets to 5 mana. If he just peels like a bunch of Reality Smashers, that's a way that he could lose this game. But he has a lot of time. He's still at 20.
Game 3 here, round 14. Winner will make it into the top 8. Loser will get another shot at it next round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, remember the records for this tournament. We have one undefeated player, and everybody else has at least 2 losses.
Earthshaker Kenra and Ragavan are killed here. Johnathan have anything in combat? We will see.
Looks like damage has happened.
Yeah, post-combat can be Sweltering Suns, as you mentioned here.
The old attack before wrath.
Spell Queller, Ben not having any of that. He rather likes having creatures in play.
Gets to investigate twice as well. That's a good turn of events. And a
And
4th creature.
and a flip for Hanvir Militia Captain. But Ben had no instant speed removal. There wasn't a way around that for him. Wondering what card Ben had drawn to go alongside his cast out. That was the answer.
That was a mighty good one.
Yeah. Weinburg still at 13. Currently a 4/4 cult leader. See him eyeing up that cast out. He's got to be worried, right? If Johnathan draws an Incendiary Flow, some way to pop the Spell Queller, everything goes with it.
Right.
And he's going to swing for 6 in the air. Leaves back Cult Leader. Cult Leader will make a 1/1 on end step.
Mm-hmm. That'll make it up to a 5/5 to get in the way of the Thought-Knot Seer.
And there we go. Ben passes. Still has cast out up. 1 mystery card. Life totals now 14 and 13. Ben evening it up. Actually make that correction. It's 13. Here we have no 14.
And Job does have 1 more Sweltering Suns. That might be the ideal top deck here. At this point, though, with that Queller generating 2 clue tokens off the Bygone Bishops, Weinberg's much more able to recover.
It is 2 Kenras in Jonathan's hand. 2 Kenras and a Smasher. 1 more card he picked up for the turn. Looks like it might be another Soul Scar Mage.
And the Kenra only makes a creature with power equal to or greater than it unable to block, so that can't do anything about the Cult Leader. You could cast both, make it so the token can't block, try to come across for some damage and find a way to punch through with some reach, but you're facing down a lot of damage on the Crackback.
Yeah, I mean, I think Johnathan needs to have a removal spell for Spell Queller. Here's Kenra. Token can't block. But they both know about the cast out. Yeah, Cult Leader's a 5/5. Can't do anything about that.
Yep. It's looking a lot like that Spell Queller did it for Weinberg here.
Yeah, well, Johnathan Job he can still top deck Incendiary Flow, and it would be great. But he's got about 1 turn left to do it.
Mm-hmm.
If he does, I think we still have a game going, though.
Sure.
He's going to swing out. Everybody but Thought-Knot.
That was a good argument for Weinberg using the cast out on one of these other creatures just to prevent damage, the Kenra possibly. But you might just want to start cracking these clues to get some more action going. As it stands, just block the Soulscar Mage. He takes 5 from 8. He's actually in a pretty reasonable position. And if you can use that mana to crack these clues, another Spell Queller should seal the deal.
Yeah, I think on Ben's spot, I would just like to crack some clues. And here's that Soulscar Mage that Job drew that turn. Replaces the one that was killed in combat. Says go. I'm going to see if it's cast out or clues. Ben's deciding to. Just under 5 minutes left in the round. We're on game 3 here. Shouldn't be a problem, though. Players both racing. Looks like Ben will take the safe line. Just cast out. Hitting Thought Knot. I mean, that draws 1 card. It's not bad.
Right. And ultimately, that Thought Knot Seer likely is going to be the target for the cast out anyway.
Might as well just make it happen. Cult Leader, a 5/5. It's going to make another Cleric on the end step. Oketra's Monument was a pickup for Ben.
Don't expect that one to really be relevant in this game.
Yeah. Selfless Spirit looks to be the play.
That draw is excellent.
That's excellent. Now he's deciding to take a clue to, he goes Selfless Spirit and Militia Captain. Could have gone Monument to Militia Captain, decided this was better.
Monument Spirit would have been.
Right, Monument Spirit. And up to 7 clues from the 2 bishops.
And the extra Militia Captain, another body on the table as a blocker. I suppose you get a token if you play the Monument anyway. But you know, the Militia Captain flipping, it applies so much pressure on one body, it generates more chump blockers.
And Ben can have some, you know, he looks like he'll have a 2-turn clock. He's going to swing his Militia, his Cult Leader. That one's now all up to a 7/7. The Spell Queller and 1 Bygone Bishop. So this is a swing for 11.
So you got a 7 power block attacker that can be chump blocked by the Soulscar Mage and 4 points in the air. Imagine Job just takes all 11.
Chump blocking 7 of it, he's probably still dead on the next swing. And if that's true, then there's no point in blocking before. Ben's thinking about having the bishop enter the battle as well. It would still be 1 short.
Yeah, so that would pump it up to 13, and that makes it more likely that Job can get something going with a Kenra. I think he's still a little bit short. There's going to be
takes it all.
Going to be 4 blockers because of the token. One way or the other, though, it makes sense for Job not to block.
All right, final attacks. He pulls a bishop back off the attack line, and I like that.
Yes.
Job to 3. End step, Ben gets another 1/1. Looking to set up for next turn. All right, this is Job's last attack. See if he can get anything out of it.
Yeah, this looks like there's just way too many blockers in the way.
Yeah, Selfless Spirit took away that out of Incendiary Flow. Before, if he'd hit flow on the Spell Queller, the Sweltering Sun still would have cleaned up the board. And that's not the case anymore. And even now, sweeping the board when Ben has 7 clues, it's not really great.
Yeah, there's no bedlam effects. There's no way to stop Ben from blocking here. You can remove 1 blocker with the Kenra. That's just not nearly enough.
Yeah, 5 blockers on Weinberg's side. It looks like we're going to have our second Blue-White Monument deck into the top 8 in Ben Weinberg's hands. Now, even with a loss here, Johnathan Job is not eliminated from the tournament. 12-3 is likely good enough to make it into the top 8, so he'll drop to 11-3.
Definitely still alive, very much so.
Need a win next round.
He just wants to make sure he doesn't leave anything on the table. He's going to measure twice. But no opportunity to cut.
Yeah, she looks at Reality Smasher, sure, plays it.
Cast this, jam. Please don't block. Oh, he saw it. Good luck in the top 8.
Yeah, hope to see you there. And there you go. Ben Weinberg is your winner. 12-2, that'll do it. Ben will make it in. Congratulations to him. White-blue monument looking strong across the board.
Yeah, and Ben comes back. We covered him losing very early in the tournament, but only picked up one more loss otherwise. And yeah, now he's a lock for the top 8.
All right, so that's going to do it here for round number 14. We know we have 2 players in top 8, both monument decks. We're going to have 6 more, though. Maybe a couple other spots actually locked up this round. We're going to check the standings and find out, and then we're going to come back with round number 15. These 2 men went to time, so there's not going to be much of a break. We're going to take a short one as we reset the round, repair the tables, and join us when we come back. We'll have round number 15. It's the last round of the Swiss of the Cincinnati Open.